Pat McCarthy, welcome to the Sport Profile.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate it.
It's such an enjoyment hearing you on the broadcasts for the Mets, hosting the pre and post game show, and, now doing more play-by-play, filling in for Howie, on certain road trips and such. I also spoke with your broadcast partner, Keith Raad, on the Sport Profile. I asked him this question, and I feel like I'm almost obligated to ask you this question too. So the Mets introduced the 999 challenge, where
9-9.
9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 innings. And obviously, not full-length hot dogs. They're not full tall boy beers. He said he could go between like 6 or 7 innings, and retroactively, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably doing like the 6-7 trend, just for saying that. But my question to you, Pat McCarthy, how deep do you think you could go?
I could probably finish it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've done the math on it.
Okay.
And so it's probably about the equivalent of 4.5 hot dogs and 4.5 full-size beers.
That's actually like nothing.
Over 9 innings. Yeah, so because they're not full size, right? So
right.
If you're asking me, could I do a full 12-ounce plus regular size hot dog over 9 innings? No, probably not.
Yeah,
but
no way.
The way the 999 challenge is set up now, I think I can make it happen. Now, I don't know if Keith told you this, but Keith doesn't love hot dogs because
no, he didn't say that.
Yeah, so because he ate so many of them in the minor leagues.
I mean, that's fair too.
Yeah. So he's very particular about his hot dogs. So he's very strategic about when he eats them. So I'd be very curious of how he'd be able to do it. Now, Steve Gelbs, on the other hand, has become a hot dog aficionado. So he might be the bright guy to ask about this. But yeah, I do think I would be able to do it. I wouldn't feel good about it after.
Probably
I would definitely question a lot of decisions that I've made.
Yeah.
But I've been walking through the concourse at times, and I've seen people with it, and I've thought, this is an interesting decision. I'm curious of whether they're going to regret this by the end of it. And but yes, I do think I would be able to do it.
I think the New York Post, I think it was a New York Post, they had a content creator do it, and she was filming her experience. I just remember seeing that, and she didn't complete it, but it was interesting to see actually somebody up close do it.
And it's a lot of intense flavors.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the idea of just eating that many hot dogs kind of skeeves me out. But
right. I feel like when people hear
I do think if I paced myself, I could do it. But you'd probably have you'd have to take an approach of probably downing 1 or 2 pretty fast.
Just to get it going.
Set the pace.
Yeah.
and then go from there.
No, I'd agree with that. I think also when people hear about the challenge, not just at Citi Field, but just in general, I feel like they envision a full 12-ounce and a full length hot dog, and I think that probably is what throws them off.
Well, that's anybody
rightfully
else.
So.
Yeah.
It certainly would throw me off.
Oh yeah, there's no shot. That would be a very uncomfortable 3 hours, I think.
Completely.
No, thank you. That doesn't sound enjoyable whatsoever.
No, completely. For the time of year, July 4th coming up.
Yeah.
I love the hot dog eating contest. It's on my bucket list to go see it in person. I've never seen any of them do a 999 challenge, even though they could probably do that in 5 minutes.
Less than an inning.
Easily. I agree, but I've never seen them do it.
But you'd have to think that they eat so many hot dogs that's the last thing that they want to do.
I agree.
But just for the pure content purposes, yeah, I'd be actually very curious to see if Joey Chestnut could just,
how fast he could actually complete the full challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Just eliminate them.
Yeah. Just get the hot dogs out of the way. I mean, the beer is obviously going to take a little bit longer, but
you just get full so fast. That would be my biggest thing.
That's true too. Away from food, I wanted to ask, the drink portion, honestly. I loved those photos of you getting doused in the Gatorade, interviewing Tyrone Taylor a couple days ago. Have you ever been in a Gatorade splash before that?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Okay.
The first one, I want to say it was my first year in 23. It was Francisco Lindor who did it, and I I want to say it was a Brandon Nimmo walk-off, but I'm not totally sure.
Hmm.
It takes a very specific, like very unique circumstances for it to be me in that situation,
Sure.
because traditionally the way we do post-game interviews is Steve Gelbs gets whoever the number one, like he gets top choice for TV, and
Of
then
course.
we get for radio, we get the number two choice. Sometimes we double up if like it's very like, like when Pete hit his record breaking home run or
Yeah.
like things like that. We'll double up. But for the most part, Steve gets first choice, and then I get the second choice. And then there's situations like if it's a national game, national TV would still get the first choice, then we get the second choice. So it's like it's very like there are very unique circumstances that I get to do the interview with like the person that would be getting doused.
Sure.
So it's happened like 2 or 3 times that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of that.
Hmm.
That was one of the better ones though. I got
With
hit
Tyrone
pretty
Taylor?
hard. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it. I have and Steve would probably tell you the same thing. There's a very specific way you have to set up because you can see where they're coming from. So
Can you?
you try to.
Well, because
Uh,
my thinking is like you're facing the dugout,
right.
from a camera standpoint. I
Right.
feel like the player and you are facing the dugout. So I get the perception of like you can see them come out,
Right.
maybe. But also
So
there's two
you can.
sides.
Right. So you're also kind of tunnel visioned, right? Because you're
Naturally.
focusing on your interview and you're looking at the camera, you're looking at the crowd, everything. But
Naturally.
if you set up your peripheral in a way that you can kind of pick out when they're coming, you have to do it's very much a dance of like not bailing out too early because you don't want to spoil it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, not getting completely blindsided by it to the point where you get hit and you lose the microphone and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So you try and set yourself up for it to happen and be in a way that you can kind of duck out before it comes. Um, I didn't do that this time, and I didn't catch them until I heard them because I
Oh,
wear
well,
double
yeah.
earphones because there's an echo.
Of course.
So you wear the doubles to kind of block that out, so you only hear the interview.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear them perfectly this time, but I caught them at the last second, so I was able to bail a little bit, but I still got
Oh, you're
hit pretty
strategic.
hard. And you know what? It's for the memories.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's worth it's worth the 45-minute flight being a little bit uncomfortable to have some pretty awesome pictures for it.
Oh, completely. They were awesome. It's an awesome memory. Do you think the
Yeah.
players like truly expect it, or do you think they're truly blindsided?
So I think they do,
Okay.
especially in a walk-off situation or
Yeah.
in like a major league debut. That was an interesting one because Tyrone had hit the game tying home run against
Yeah.
Bednar. He hadn't won the game. So I wondered if they were still going to do it in that situation. That was the only reason I was like a little like, I was questioning it in my head before. I'm like, I wonder if they're going to do it or not. Was
Rightfully
because
so at
Benjin
that
hit the
point.
walk-off. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Tyrone's was obviously the biggest hit because 2 outs in the 9th inning, 3-run homer ties it. So
Yeah.
I was curious if they were going to do it or not. And they did. And it was well-deserved.
It's so interesting, that dynamic too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mets have obviously had like, up and down starts to the season. I love the silly comparisons that they make to the 2019 Nationals, but the dynamic I wanted to kind of examine a little bit more is your dynamic with the rest of the broadcast crew. You, Howie, and Keith are super close. I loved seeing the clip of you, Keith, and I believe Steve Galbs was in there too, in the San Francisco trip.
Full
That
house.
was super fun to see. What's the dynamic like with you and, the rest of the broadcast team?
Yeah. We're really fortunate that we're all pretty tight, and we have a really great crew, and we spend a lot of time together. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Like, as we see
Right.
each other more during the summer than we see our families, and we have the most downtime on the road, and we try and make the most of our opportunities. We try and go see places. We try and explore. We have dinner and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
We're really fortunate, and the radio booth in particular is the best. Between Howie, Madge, and Keith, they're three people that I love coming to work with every single day
Of
because you
course.
never know, you never know what's going to happen that day. There's never a dull day, and because of that, we have a lot of fun and we keep it very light. We don't take ourselves too seriously because at the end of the day, we're doing a baseball game. So like because of
Right.
that, like we have a lot of fun. And then with the TV guys, like we don't see each other a ton at home because of the way our booths are set up at Citi Field, because they're kind of on the other side and then we're on one side of the stairwell, they're on the other. So
I
we
see.
don't cross paths a ton at home, but we see each other a lot on the road
Got it.
because we're on the bus together, we're on the flight together, we're in meetings together. So we see a lot more of each other on the road. You know, with Steve in particular, he's been such an incredible mentor for
Yeah.
me because he's been doing it for so long. What I love about Steve Gelbs, and I say this about Howie all the time too,
Sure.
is that who you see on the air is exactly who he is off the air. And like that's like the biggest compliment I can ever give to a broadcaster because there's
Yeah.
nothing fake about them. They are authentically themselves. And that's what I think makes Howie so great. And I've told Steve this, that that's what makes him so great in his role.
Yeah.
Um, and seeing how Steve interacts with people, seeing how he interacts with the fans is awesome. And so Steve and I spend a lot of time together because we're getting interviews at the end of the game, and then he'll come and he'll hang out in our booth and stuff like that during games sometimes when he's in between hits. We have gotten incredibly close over the last couple of years, which is awesome. And then, you know, Keith and I, we got hired at the exact same time
Yeah.
and we're around the same age. Our wives are very close. Our kids are around the same age.
Oh, it's the best
So
feeling.
yeah, it's pretty awesome that
Yeah.
it's very unique, I think, that you can have a partner who you consider one of your closest friends.
Sure.
And and that's what I have with Keith, which is pretty special.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any I don't know this, but do you have any siblings?
I do. I'm one of four.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of four.
You're one of 4.
Yeah.
Do you view Keith as like an extended sibling in a way?
Yeah, honestly, like I talk to him more than I talk to a lot of my than I talk to my siblings, and I see him a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, and we have he's very much like an older brother to me. I mean, he's 2 years older than me. He became a dad before I did. So going through that journey together was
Right.
pretty cool. Leaning on each other when we got hired to kind of make sure that we were both like doing the right thing and making mistakes and learning together was really cool. So yeah, I mean,
Totally.
100%. Like that is the type of relationship that we have. I mean, we bicker from time to time. We mess with each other. We don't take
Sure.
each other too seriously. And then at the end of the day, like we go and we hang out after a game or we go get lunch and we go at it again the next day. Like it's a really, really great relationship. One that I don't know how people work with a partner that they don't enjoy being with every single day.
Yeah.
Like that sounds awful, honestly. Like
Yeah.
showing up to work with somebody that you can't stand to be around. I think Keith and I have a really great dynamic together that like we're very independent from each other, that like when we're away from the game, we're kind of doing our own thing. Like on an off day, you know, I'll go do one thing, he'll go do another, and then, you know, we'll meet up for dinner. And it's just like we have that really good balance of like making sure that we're not constantly butting heads or constantly, you
Sure.
know, being with each other nonstop. So that way, when we do get together away from the ballpark, it's great.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think what you said in the beginning was super important because you had mentioned that like when you are on the road, obviously you have that more time, you have that
Mhm.
downtime a little bit more. How important is it to maximize that downtime in the
Huge.
expansiveness of a marathon season? How do you
Yeah,
prioritize that actively?
you have to. It's because if you don't, you would drive yourself crazy. Like everybody has like their own thing, right? Like that they love to do away from
Sure.
the game, and and sometimes that's different from the people that you're traveling with. So that's where you have to just kind of go on your own and go do things,
Mm,
right? Like I'm very much a creature of habit, whereas
okay.
like I
Same.
eat like this. I eat the same things. I'm very routine oriented with what
Me
I
too.
do. I wake up. I go get coffee, I come back, I get some work done, I work out, I come back, I get work done, and then I go get lunch and I go to work. Like that's like what I do. So on game days, like I try and like that's how I operate. So I try and deviate from that every once in a while where it's just like, okay, like let me go try this place or try that. Like, whereas like Keith is very like he loves food, right? Like he
Sure.
loves trying different foods and stuff like that. So like that's how he stays sane. Like he goes to like different restaurants and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that way he can sample local food and stuff like that. For me, I love to go explore, right? So like I will always take an hour or so of my day and go explore. A lot of times I go and run. Like that's my biggest thing. It's like I love to run.
When you're on the
So
road?
when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
So like I'll find a destination and I'll go. A lot of times if there's a college campus around, I'll find out how far that campus is. I'll run to the campus, walk around, and then run back. So like when we're in
It's
Miami,
honestly a great spot,
yeah,
like, to do a
right.
run.
It's awesome. So you can see everything. Like we were in LA a couple weeks ago
Yep.
and we were about 3 miles from UCLA. So I'd never been. So I went and I ran to UCLA, walked around campus, and I ran back.
I've heard the campus is
Um,
gorgeous, by the way.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. And then I've done that here when we've stayed in Coral Gables. Like I just ran to the U, walked around campus, and I've come back. So like
Right.
that's like what I love to do. I love doing different tours. And that's the
Mm.
fun thing too, is if we do tours that we enjoyed, we'll then tell that person like, hey, I went on this tour today. Maybe you should go do it. Like we were in Seattle 2 years ago and Keith went on this tour of the underground city of Seattle, which you have no idea would even exist, but it's the way that
Yeah, I
Seattle
don't.
was built. Yeah. So Seattle was built on this like hill and it was built too low. So
Okay.
then when there was either a fire or some kind of natural disaster that they then built the new city above this underground city. So you can go and tour the original like underground portion of Seattle.
Huh.
So Keith did the tour. He told me about it the next day. My wife was on the trip with me. It was something that she had already like kind of highlighted as something to do. So then as soon as Keith told us like, hey, I did this yesterday, you guys should go do it. We did it the next day. So like
That's
we
so
we
fun.
definitely like try and like bounce things off each other of like, hey, I did this, you should go do this. Like we were in Kansas City 2 years ago and there's the massive World War I museum in Kansas
Yeah.
City. I did it one day. Like that's my passion. Like I love history and
Sure.
museums and stuff like that. So like anytime
They're
there's
so
like
fun.
amazing. Yeah. So I went to that the one day and then Keith went and did it the next day. Like we bounce things off each other and stuff like that just to try and, maximize our time.
Did you get to do any of that in DC? I mean,
Yeah.
as
So I
a
went to what did I do yesterday? I went to or 2 days ago, I went to the American History Museum.
I love that one. One of my
Love that
favorites.
one. Yeah. And Air and Space is one of my favorites.
Same.
They had been renovating it for a while, so it was hard to get in.
Yeah.
And then you had to get tickets and you had to like time it out and stuff like that. I mean, DC is just, it's one of my favorite places. Like I'll run the monuments and just kind of take everything in, go up to Lincoln and stuff like that. World War II
Same.
Memorial is one of my favorites. Go over to the Jefferson, you look out onto the Potomac and it's just,
It's
it's
gorgeous.
great. Yeah.
I
Great.
went to the University of Maryland for grad school, and
Okay.
so on certain Sundays when I didn't have anything going on, I would just go down to the mall, walk around,
Yeah.
and there was this Starbucks on the corner of like the mall. I don't remember the individual street, but it was right next to this massive castle, which is the Smithsonian Castle
Yep.
that has been actually closed for 3 years. And I just saw today on the Today Show that it's reopening in about, I don't know. I don't want to say like when it's reopening, but like they're getting ready to reopen it. And it was like the first Smithsonian museum. I was like, so that's what it is. And I never knew what it was because it was closed. Like you couldn't go in. So it's like, I'm not
Right.
going to pay any attention to it. It just looked cool. But yeah, I loved DC. And also like
Yeah.
all the museums are
Love
free.
DC.
All the
Everything's free.
museums are free.
That's what's best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could
You
just
pay $5 to
hop.
park in the street, and then you can just hop around from museum to museum. Especially on a
Yeah.
hot day. It's awesome.
Oh, it's great. They're all next to each other. You just go from one
Yeah.
to the other, the other, the other. You never spend like that much time in one of them.
No,
right?
no,
You
you
know,
go
because
for
you can
15,
never
20
see the
minutes, an
whole
hour.
thing. Exactly. I wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously broadcasting philosophies,
Mhm,
because something I know about you is that you really prioritize like being one with the audience. You really know how to make people feel like you're in their room. And I
mhm.
know that's something you've spoken about that you've prioritized. So why is that such a value to you? And
Yeah,
where
I
did
I
that
think
originally come from?
it's a good question. I think a lot of it stems from how I grew up, right? Like,
Sure.
that when we were kids, like, that was our way of connecting, was feeling like we were in the booth, right? And
Right.
so I think a lot of it stems from, like, that's how my dad approaches broadcasting, and
Yeah.
that, like, him pulling an audience in and making them feel engaged was just kind of the style that he's used.
Sure.
And, nature versus nurture, right? Like, so that's what I grew up
Yeah.
listening to. So, like, that's how I approach a game. And I think too, a lot of it, that's how Howie does it, right?
Sure.
Like, Howie is a pull up the chair, come hang out, enjoy the game with us kind of thing. So I think a lot of that is how it stems. I like to bring people in, right? Like, I like to tell stories about what we do on the road. Like,
Of course.
I like to share, like, the personal side of things. And I think that's how that allows people to connect. And I also just think that, like, in 162 games, like, radio is really intimate. Like, there's just something
It
about it
is.
that,
More so than people realize, I think.
yeah. And it's funny because, like, people don't see you, right? Like, most people have no idea what I look like or anything like that. I walk, I walk around, I walk around City Field and stuff like that, and nobody knows who I am. But because that's just like we're behind a radio,
Sure.
but like at the same time, like those that listen to us every day, like we know that like they feel a connection to us, which is like
Yeah.
to me that's the name of the game. Like that's what's so important
Yeah, I agree.
is like your listening audience feeling a connection to the people that they're with, because whether they're sitting in traffic or just down at the shore or whatever it is, like you're becoming an integral part of what they're doing. I just think if there's a disconnect between you and the audience, then they're not going to feel connected to the broadcast, or they're not going to feel connected to the game at all. So I think it's definitely like a throwback style. Like, I think
Sure.
it's, why we see some of the older broadcasters so revered is because they become a massive part of people's lives because of the connections that they made.
Yeah.
I mean, 90% of people have never met Howie before, but like they feel like he's a part of their lives because of how long he's been doing it and for the way he brings people in.
You had mentioned if there's a connection. Can a broadcaster feel, or even in your personal space, can you feel if there's not a connection?
It's a great question. Um, I don't know. Yeah,
It's
probably
obviously the
because
goal to
yeah.
have that connection. I'm just curious, like, if the dynamic shifts, if you can feel like there isn't a connection, or if you feel like you're disconnected. That was really interesting what you said there. And I
Yeah, I
love the
think
perspective you shared.
people would tell you if there's a disconnect. I think that,
That's one
you know,
example.
yeah, if there's one thing that we've learned in social media, it's that people love to voice their opinion.
Oh, you better believe that one.
And I think if people don't feel connected, they'll let you know. Um, but like,
That's one way.
especially with this year, with this being Howie's last year, like we're
Yeah.
seeing it firsthand of just how many people have felt that connection to him and how many people are coming out and saying like what a massive part of their lives he's been. So I think the audience will tell you if there's a disconnect, but I also do think that you'll feel it, right? Like I just think
Yeah.
that like if you instinctually like go into a broadcast and just feel like I'm not there, right? Like there's just something missing. It's an instinctual feeling, I think, of just like
Sure.
I'm not connecting with people and I'm just going in there and just calling the game.
That has to feel weird a little
It is a
bit.
weird feeling. It's awkward. It's
Yeah.
awkward. So I think
I
it's
mean,
a
look, you
really
can't.
great question. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. It's one of those things where it's just like I think I know it when I feel it. but it's hard to put into words of like, what does a disconnect look like? What does a disconnect feel
Right.
like?
And like you said,
But
obviously you'll see it on from people if they
yeah,
reach out. But those are the folks you don't pay any attention to
right.
because they're just spewing shit.
But it's when a lot of people start to say
I
it that
mean,
you think,
yeah.
oh, okay, maybe there is something there.
Yeah, right. That part I understand. I mean, look, you can't be 100% all the time. Nobody is. That's like
No,
impossible. You have to give yourself the grace a little bit, right? But I really enjoyed hearing that perspective from you.
yeah,
I think you really articulated it well. You feel it when it happens. I certainly have experienced that a little bit. That's kind of
mm,
where the question stemmed from. I can feel it. I don't know. It's just like that internal feeling in your chest.
yeah,
If like you just show up, you're not giving 100%, again, you give yourself the grace a little bit. I'm hosting like a 40-minute type of thing. I also host bar trivia sometimes. And if there's like a
nice.
small, oh, it's so fun. It's a delight. But if there's like a smaller-ish crowd, it's like, yeah. But then, you try to rectify it a little bit and, bring some energy,
Yeah,
so I can only imagine a broadcast for a 2.5 hour-ish baseball games. But you have fun with it though.
have to. I tell people all the time, like, and I have it in my scorebook. I write "have fun" in all caps
Really.
because, like, if you're not having fun, the audience isn't having fun, and
Is
like
that just a
that's
subtle
like,
reminder for you personally?
yeah, like I think at times like you can show up to a game and just not be in it, and then remember like why you're there and how amazing this job is. And when a game is long or it's bad, nobody wants to hear us complain. You can, but do it once and then don't
Right.
harp on it. Because that, again, that talks about like the human side of it and the connection. Like, a person back in Jersey or person on Long Island that's listening is not having fun listening to this game,
Yeah.
but they're still listening. So you owe it to them to make it worth their time
Of course.
because they're giving it to you. So you owe it to them, you owe it to the company, you owe it to the team, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family. Everybody that is sacrificing something for you to be there, you owe it to them to have as much fun and enjoy it as much as possible.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And I'm willing to bet a lot of people had fun in that first Nationals game when it was
Yeah.
5-5 going into the ninth. Just,
Crazy.
kind of relatively boring for the first part. And then
Yeah.
scoring 10 in the 12th, I woke up the next day, I was like, that real?
I said it on the post-game show. I was like, this is one of those games where if you just looked at the line score, you're not doing this game any kind of justice. It was a rather like edge of your seat game
Because you missed
for
like 90% of it.
for 10 innings. Like it
Right.
was, and then like the 11th comes and you're just like, really? Like that's how
I mean, the Mets
that's
haven't
how
gone
this is
12
gonna
in a
end?
long time.
Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. So right. So they get to the 11th, like each team scores a run, like, all right, here we go. We're going to the 12th. And then like 12th inning happens and you were just like, huh, that's how this game's gonna come to an end. I don't think I've ever seen this one before.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was weird. It was
and the,
weird.
and I loved all the post game stats of like the Mets were the first team to score 10 since like
Yeah.
the Reds in 1919.
Yeah, against the
I s-
Brooklyn Robins.
who the hell are they? Why are
Yep.
they relevant?
Crazy.
Only the
Absolutely insane.
2026 New York Mets could make the Brooklyn Robins relevant.
Yep.
I mean, look, you have fun, and that's the most important thing. And I mean, I am just super curious about this because it did, happen fairly ish recently. But Gary Cohen's use of the word pulchritudinis,
Mhm.
like when you heard that, what did you think? Did you think like, oh man, this guy's having fun? Like, what was going on in your mind there? My friend
I
sent it to me. He's like, did you hear what Gary Cohen said? And I know he wouldn't have said a curse word because that's not Gary Cohen.
No.
But like, and I was not watching the game. Admittedly, I was doing something else. But I was like, whenever you get that text from somebody, he's like, did you hear what so and so said? It's like, oh, it's probably bad. What on God's green earth was your first impression when you heard that?
So my first impression was I didn't hear it, right? Because I was down on the field when Benj made the catch.
Yeah.
So, whatever, like, I forget when I first heard. It must have been after the fact. Obviously, it was after the fact, but it must, because we were in Anaheim. Was it the last day in Anaheim? So we were going to Colorado after,
Yeah.
I think, and and I remember just like looking at it and being like, "What did he say?" Like because I've never even heard of the word.
Me neither. I
No,
had no idea.
yeah, I'd never heard of the word. I didn't know what it meant. So we went online and looked up what it meant to try and figure out. We're like, oh, and it's like the definition is used like in terms of like describing beauty, and
I
we're
didn't know
like,
this.
yeah, and we're like, how did he how did he do that? So like my biggest thing with it, like kudos to Gary for
I mean,
being able to
yeah,
say it and being able to pull it out in that situation, but like
exactly. I'm like, how does
I
that
would
word enter your headspace?
right, like I don't think in that like quick, I don't think I'd ever be able to pull a word like that out.
Yeah,
And I'd probably stumble. To me, it would be like one of those situations where it's like I was reading something, I saw it, I was like, "That's an interesting word. Let me look it up what it means." And being like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "I wonder if I can ever fit that into a broadcast." And then like I would be thinking about it, but
sure.
then when it would happen, I'd probably stumble over the word.
Because you're thinking
And
about it too much.
right. So the fact that he was able to say it and just he's so articulate, right? Like he didn't even there was no hesitation. He just did
Right.
it.
Ron
Yeah.
Darling's response was funny too. He was like, I don't know if it's pulchritudinous, but it was really amazing. Because he's
Yeah.
probably like, what the heck did he just say?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody, I mean, Ronnie's an Ivy Leaguer, so if there's anybody that
Yeah,
that knew the word, it was him. Um,
probably.
but yeah, I was like, oh, wow, okay. I was just like, but you're just like, you kind of go back and you're like, how did he know to say that? I don't know, because like, there's just like amazing, unbelievable,
Insert
fantastic,
any
like,
adjective, any positive
yes.
adjective.
So, and I've like every time I've tried to say it, like I think I've finally gotten to the point where like I can say pulchrituous, or see, I can't even say it. Like I don't even know how to properly pronounce the word. So
I think I also get it wrong every time I say it.
every time, so I've
Yeah.
avoided even trying to say it because I
I mean,
know that I can't I can't say it right.
so I was seeing that friend, my friend Mike Riccioni, the next day actually, and I go up to him and I'm just like, "Yeah, I can't fathom what like you sent me. I'm still processing it." My girlfriend was next to me too. She's like, we fill her in. She didn't know, and she's like, "Use that in a sentence." And I was
Nope.
like, Carson Bench with a pulchritudinous play. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, but that's what he said. Use it in a different sentence. And I said, Mike Riccioni with a pulchritudinous play.
Otherwise, my definition would be like Gary Cohen used to
Use
describe
that
it
in a
best.
sentence.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd have no idea. No
No,
idea.
exactly. I was like, I can't use that in a sentence. And she's like, you just switched the names around. I'm like, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, again, I'd never heard of the word before. Again, it's a testament to like Gary's just knowledge and quickness that he was able to even
Yeah.
pull it out. Yeah.
Oh my God, I completely agree. That it was fun. It was fun
Yeah.
hearing that. It's always fun listening to the Mets broadcasts on radio, on TV. You guys all do a phenomenal job. But Pat, the last question I always ask everybody is just your career aside, your broadcasting work aside, just really you as a person. Pat McCarthy, what's something you like most or admire about yourself?
um, man, and it's a good question. For me is I very much try and I don't know if I'm good at it or not. I
Yeah.
try and separate my work from my life a lot. And I think a lot of it stems from how I grew up again, is like where is being very present to where you are. And when you're away from work and you're at home, like that's where you are. Right. So like you make you make the most time you possibly can, whether that's for friends, whether that's for family, or whether that's for yourself, right? Like you do everything you can to be present in the moment. And that's a lot easier said than done,
Oh,
right? Because
completely.
like so much of our work just is indoctrined in our lives
I think that
that
it's
it's
like that
hard.
in any field.
Yeah, anything, right? Like I think that's the ultimate like life balance for anybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing for work, is separating it and not bringing it home with you. So I really try and do that. I think that I would like to think that I have a pretty good outlook on life, and I try and keep things really positive. And you know what? Honestly, the biggest thing is I'll say is I am unapologetically myself, and I'm never going to try and be somebody that I'm not. I'm a goofball. I'm a nerd. I love Harry Potter. I love Star Wars. I love history, and I don't care what other people have to say about it. And I spent a lot of my life caring a lot about what other people think and realizing that 99% of people have a lot of their own stuff going on. So they're not thinking about what you're doing. So I now just go about my life living into how I want to live with the expectations that I set for myself and not for ones that other people set for me. So that's the biggest thing, is living life to the way you want it and not the way your family would expect you to, and the way that you expect yourself to. So that's for me my biggest thing with myself, is like that I feel like I live my life to my expectations.
I love that so much. It's so refreshing to hear anybody say that. It's empowering to others, and I hope people, when they listen to this, they hear you say that and they feel empowered to live their lives as your authentic self, just like you do. And I can only hope that we continue to do that in the future and show up and just have fun with what we're doing. It's the most
Life's too short.
thing. It is.
Life's too short to not enjoy every second of it.
It is. I completely agree. Pat McCarthy, thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate it.